This is the last person you're ever gonna see alive.
Hello all you people out there in TV land. My name is CB Studios, also known as Kurt, and today I'm giving you a little bit of a Scream and Ghostface video, and I'm going to give you an overview and a look at how I turned my SXD telephone voice changer into a Ghostface sound clip soundbox.
Do you like scary movies?
Let's check it out. So to begin with, this is just a very, very cheap little voice changer. You can get these on Amazon or eBay, anywhere between 20 and 30 bucks. If you're in Australia, it's about $30, which is what it cost me. And there are two different styles. This one originally, when I got it, it was blue. The real ones are listed as white, and they're sort of like an old computer gray beige color. That's the color that you want to get because it's closest to what Ghostface used. This one was painted white, and it does work. It's just, I bloodied it up because it just didn't look great with the blue showing through on the paint. It chips, it flakes, it cracks. It's not great. First of all, go for one of these little guys. Second of all, these don't change your voice at all. They are absolute garbage. There is a tiny, tiny, tiny little microphone. It's that little condenser mic there. And a really, really cheap, crappy speaker. Anybody that thinks the voice changer in Scream could work is an idiot. Straight out, it doesn't work. This thing itself is absolute garbage, but it is what they used in Scream, at least as the prop for the voice changer. A similar one was used in Scream, and then this was used in Scream 5 as well. Now, when I cosplay as Ghostface at conventions, I really want to be able to portray Ghostface, and it doesn't sound right having the Australian voice coming out muffled underneath the mask. That doesn't sound cool. What I thought was, if I could find a soundboard, I could put some Ghostface voice clips from the movie onto that soundboard, and every time I press a button,
I want to play a game.
You'd get the Ghostface sound clips. You'd get Ghostface speak. Like this.
This is the last person you're ever gonna see alive.
Now, it's not the best soundboard. It's okay, but it was fairly cheap and easy to get a hold of. The thing is, I have very minimal electronics experience, so I didn't want to have to modify or program a circuit board for this. Put an image up here and I'll tell you what to search on Amazon, and you can find these soundboards, and they are just USB. So there's a little USB port that I had to hollow out in the bottom of my voice changer box here. And it's a little soundboard, a rechargeable battery, USB port is on the soundboard, and then your large speaker bit. And what I did was I disassembled this and made it fit. It's not just something that drops in. That doesn't really exist, and there's a lot of internal baffling and posts and standoffs in these cases. There was a lot of work to make it fit. So what I'm going to do is I will take this apart and I'll show you how it looks. I'll show you how I assembled mine. It took about an hour and a half to set up, but the results make a very, very sturdy and very reliable machine. I don't do these for people, so don't send me messages, don't try and track me down and ask me to make them for you, because I won't. I'm uploading this video so you can do it yourself. If you don't want to break the pieces that you buy for it, you're gonna have to find somebody that'll do it for you, but that's not going to be me. The way that this soundboard works is you load MP3 files or WAV files onto the circuit board. That's it. And it's plug and play. It's very, very easy to work with. They've made it very, very simple. The issue that you will have trying to do a project like this is you are not going to be able to find clean audio files of Roger Jackson. That was what slowed me down a lot on this project, is I thought, do I want to pay Roger to rattle off 2 to 3 minutes worth of lines for me? Do I try and extrapolate them from the movie? In the movie you've got sounds in the background, popcorn on fire or stabbing or cars. You've got telephone static, you've got people screaming, and you've got Marco Beltrami's score in there. None of that's going to work if you're trying to pretend that you're the one going,
forget watching Stab, instead you get to live it.
So what do? What did I do? I downloaded TikTok, and I am not proud of that fact, but I downloaded TikTok so I could use TikTok's text-to-voice function when they had their Ghostface voice, which sounded remarkably like Roger Jackson. So I went through and I spent a good couple of hours, probably about 5 hours, typing in sentences, changing spelling to get pronunciation right, spaces, full stops, all the punctuation, until I got probably 30 lines that sounded close enough and sounded enough like what I wanted. And on my computer, I ripped all of the audio out of those video files and converted them. I altered the volume, I shortened them all down to the individual clips, and I named them all, and then dropped them all onto this drive. It was not the easiest way of doing things. There may be an easier way to do it, but with the methods that I was trying to do and not having to pay for somebody to, record lines or impersonate it myself or clean up digital audio, it's about the easiest way I could think of. I'm not going to share my files because I spent all of the time doing it. I don't think these are good enough to share, so I'm not going to. If the voice to text or text to voice thing is still available on TikTok, then absolutely use that. That is the best way to go, in my opinion. You'll have to find your own way to get the dialogue for it. That's going to be the big hard part for it. So, we've gone over what your components are. You will need a rotary tool to fit your components in here. The plastic is very, very easy to work with, but you do need to remove some walls and baffling and things like that. You've got to be very gentle with the parts that are in this, and you've got to have a little bit of computer knowledge as well. So, not much, like it's bare bones, but you've got to have a little bit of knowledge to be able to set that up. I'm going to break out a screwdriver and give you a look at the insides of this little guy, and give you an idea on how I assembled it all. So let's do that. Alright, so this is the voice changer. This is how they look straight out of the packet. Whoop. This was the packet for mine. Yours may be different. As long as it looks like this, you'll be able to follow this. Now, if you have questions about what's inside it, I can't tell you shit. These may differ as well. It may not be exactly the same as this. So if it's different inside, sucks to be you, buddy. So, there's a couple of things you're going to need to remove. You're going to need a screwdriver. So, this little guy, little Phillips head one. That's the crosshead screwdrivers. And you've got 3 screws in here. If you slide the battery compartment off, there's 1 and 2, as you can see there. And then up underneath this self-adhesive foam ring is the 3rd. So, important thing to do is to remove these and make sure that you don't lose them. I like to pop the foam, just stick that back in place over the top, and that holds in place. And these are really soft screws, so be super careful. Try not to strip them, as I just did there. That's fucking awesome. Good work, Kurt. So make sure that you get a nice grip on your screwdriver before you start fucking around with stuff. So, before I go any further, I had to fit a bunch of parts into this piece. And so very gently, I have my battery double-sided taped to the battery cover. And that's our little rechargeable battery there. You can see our circuit board inside. So, if we pop this up, I'm going to slide the battery door back in there. And we can open up our box and have a look at what treasures lie inside. So, we have our large speaker, and that's hot glued in place through there. There is a speaker ring that sits here that the original speaker sits into. I had to Dremel that away so that that speaker didn't exist there anymore. There's a small piece of this baffle here, as you can see, up under here. This has been ground away as well to allow me some room for my cables to go in. And I wanted to use the original soundboard, or the original circuit board that was in my voice changer, the original one that comes in, because I wanted it to still have this wheel, and I actually wired up my speaker contacts to this light. So the original light that lights up, it's a piece in Scream 5 that you can see in the neck of the Ghostface costume. I wanted to flash as you spoke. So what I did was I ground out the circuit board. I've notched it here, and ground out the circuit board through there so that I had enough room to fit my soundboard in, as it had to be notched up into that, and it was just easier to do it that way. I've cut the main section out so that I could fit the wires from my push button, which is here, and they go up underneath. They're all hidden. And I drilled a hole through the circuit board right where my, I think it's the blue button, the green button is. So these two still have their original sort of squidgy clicky functions. They don't do anything. But this one is now a push button.
Hello, Sydney. It's showtime.
That when you push it, it registers. So I filled that, the original rubber piece. So this original rubber piece, I filled it with hot glue so it'd have a little bit more resistance. My circuit board is hot glued in so that it's nice and secure. And I made sure that everything worked before I put it all back together. Everything's basically hot glued in place, so it's removable if anything breaks. And this circuit board here, that's your volume control, so you do have a bit of control over the volume. And the final thing that I had to do, if we can just pop this up, was I ground out this socket here for my little micro USB. As you can see, I ground it too large, so I put a little piece of Sintra in the back, some styrene plastic, or PVC foam board, I think Sintra is, and that was just super glued in place. Once I'd gotten everything in place and made sure that nothing connected, none of the wires got squished or anything like that, I very, very gently was able to reassemble everything, just making sure that everything pops back into place, which is really simple. And you can see there, up through that bottom section there, how much material I actually had to hog out. This is a battery compartment for a 9-volt battery, and that whole area in there was a solid wall with the cables pop up down in the side here. So what I have done is hogged all that out, so there was no way that I could shear off any wires or make any damage there. It's really, really easy. All you have to do to reassemble is get your screw posts in the right place, pop your screw back in through there, and we pop our other screw back in. Now, if I was to build another one of these for myself further down the line, this would probably only take about 20 minutes now that I know where my space constraints are and what I need to grind out and how I need to secure everything. It would actually be fairly quick, but I have no interest in doing that, so you guys can learn from me. Everything pops back in. It's all self-contained. You don't need to open it unless you want to change the volume, at which point I actually made it so I could access that volume switch very easily at a convention if I found that it was too quiet or too loud. The louder it is, the quicker it's going to drain your batteries. Everything goes back together. This volume wheel does still move, which is great. And
You follow directions well. Welcome to the final act.
That's how we do it. So there we go. Hopefully that gives you a good idea on how to do this sort of a project. This is not the only way to do this. I'm sure there's a bunch of other ways that you could do this. This is the way that I decided to do it. Hopefully that helps you a little bit. If you do have questions, send me a message down in the comments. Please don't ask me to do them for you, because I won't. I don't make these to sell, so don't ask that either. Other than that, if you make one of these, I'd love to hear about it. You can find me on Instagram at Ghostface Down Under. Put a thing, there'll be a bit here that will spell that out. And yeah, send me a video of you doing it. Send me your results. I'd love to see more people try this because I think it's a really cool thing that you can add to your costume. Until next time, guys.
What's your favorite scary movie?